Snooker Loopy, not a we, me and him and them and me. We'll show you what we can do with a load of balls of the snooker cue. Pot the red and screw back for the yellow, green, brown, blue, pink and black. Snooker Loopy, not a we. We're all Snooker Loopy. Cheers, boys.
Hello, we are ready to rock and roll. This is the Snooker Loopy Podcast, and here we are back. My name is Tom Mayhew, and I'm joined, as always, by Joe Hannard. What I did there, I left a gap so I thought people could re-listen and add their own nickname at home.
Well, he made me panic thinking that he was on mute, but good evening, Hazel. Good evening, everybody at home, and welcome to Snooker in the Summer. And it's been a few weeks since the end of the World Championship, and more importantly, the end of the World Seniors Championship. Q School's been over for a couple of weeks. I think that the dust has finally settled on a very, very eventful 2025-26 season, Tom. And, well, we're going to reflect a little bit on that today, aren't we? Maybe a little look ahead to the next season, but we're going to save that for a special video in a couple of weeks' time. But how have you been coping in a snookerless world?
Do you know what? I think there's so much snooker in those last few months, right? Because we have, the Players' Championship, the Tour Championship, we have the World Championship, we have the Seniors, we have Q School. So I think after that, I'm glad I gave myself a little bit of a break from snooker. As much as I adore it and I love it, I do think I needed just a little few weeks off. Yes, I still have been following the qualifiers because I'm an absolute nerd, but generally kind of, not watching too much and just enjoying a small break before it all kicks off again. I mean, the first event's in 2 days, apparently, the Championship League, and that's the new season.
Well, yeah, the first ranking event of the season. Obviously, Stephen Maguire defending champion. It'll be interesting to see who wins that. It's always a bit of a lottery, isn't it? I think Dave Gilbert won it a few years ago for his first ever ranking event trophy. I don't think we would have predicted Stephen Maguire to be in the winners' enclosure last season. He won it. So who can go in there and win it? That's going to be really interesting. Obviously, it's quite a long event. Even though it starts in a couple of days, it doesn't actually finish for nearly a month. So it's a marathon, that one, not a sprint. And probably the only tournament that lasts longer than the World Championship. I don't want to be quoted on that because there might be some other events that I suppose when you take into account how long their qualifiers run, maybe that they go longer than 17 days. But I don't actually think there's any out there other than this ranking event of the Championship League that runs longer than it.
I'd say you're probably right, because it is often the event that has the most centuries over a season. I think the record for players getting the most entries in the tournament has been broken numerous times by the likes of Matt Selt broke it. Then I think Jack Jones broke it just because they play so many matches in the Championship League, and for whatever reason, I guess because there's no crowd as well, it just feels like a bit of a glorified exhibition, I think, for them, and it just means they play a lot of matches, get a lot of breaks, and it goes on forever, and it's hard to really get excited by it, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it was all right a few years ago when it was broadcast on ITV. I think that helped the event. I think what doesn't help is that it's not very well promoted and it ends up on WST Play. And they've actually got some strange commentary selections for it. I don't know if you've seen anything about that, but they've actually ventured into the world of snooker journalists and actually getting them on board to commentate. So I was very disappointed that when I looked at our Snooker Loopy Podcast at gmail.com before, that I didn't see any messages from WST asking us to commentate on it. I think we'd be the perfect candidates to commentate on Hamid Mia versus Pankaj Advani in the first round of the Championship League.
Yeah, and me and Joe are really looking forward to that one. We've been talking about it for about an hour before this podcast. That's all we were talking about, So
yeah, good old Pankaj, who hasn't been on the tour for probably more than 10 years at this point, but played in the 900 at least a few weeks ago. So certainly still active. But see, this is the insight that you could have on there. But WST just don't seem to want us to play, do they, Tom?
No, they don't. I mean, I would like you to. I can get you to play in it. Do you know what I mean? I feel like eventually they are going to run out of players. I think they're going to phone you up.
Well, we'll have to see. I'll have to improve my form quite a bit if that's to be the case, because my form's all over the place at the minute. I think I've forgotten how to play snooker, but enough about that. I did find, Tom, that we made a little bit of a prediction of what the 2025-26 season would be. So I thought that would be a good place to start, since we're talking a bit about the 2025-26 season, some of our favourite moments. Obviously, some massive things happened in snooker over the last 12 months, so we want to talk about them. But we made some silly predictions this time last year. I believe it was in, let's see, it was the 29th of June 2025. So it was almost a year ago today, Tom, that we made these predictions. And, well, we decided to predict the UK champion, the Masters champion, the world champion, end of season number 1, a first-time ranking event winner, and the highest ranking jump. Now, we've never done this before, but we'll do it again in our preview episode for the 26-27 season. Do you have any recollection at all on who you might have predicted to do any of those things?
I mean, I probably predicted Zing Song to break the curse, I think I might have done that. As for anything else, I have no idea. I have no idea whatsoever, but I'm not feeling confident.
Well, we decided to give points for this. Struggled to come up with a point system for it, but I thought 5 points if you bang on the money. 3 points if that person got to the final of that event, or, for in the case of a first-time ranked event winner, did that, or end of season number 1 got to number 2 maybe, and then 1 point if we beat each other. So let's see how it went. We're going to start off with the UK Championship, and I predicted, Tom, Kyron Wilson to win the UK Championship, and it's fair to say, you might remember, he had a bit of a stinker in the UK Championship. He ended up going out in the first round, I believe. And he was talking about his cue, his tip, and all things in between. It was a dreadful performance. And I just want to confirm this, because I'm fairly sure, yes, he did go out in the first round. He lost to Elliot Slesser, my big rival, 6-4 in that opening match.
Oh, that has to hurt. That has to hurt, Joe.
It stings. It stings. You backed a certain magician to win the UK Championship. Do you remember how he did in this year's UK Championship?
Oh, did he do quite well? Because he had a good season. Did he? He didn't win it, did he?
He didn't win it, no. Mark Selby won it against Judd Trump in the final. However, Sean Murphy was a losing semi-finalist. So you get the first point of the day, Tom. 1 point in the bag for the Smurf 360. And you've got to say, he's done well for you over the years as good old Smurfy.
Yeah, he's a good lad, Smurf.
He's a good lad. But Kyron Wilson didn't do well for me there, so yeah, not very happy about that. The Masters, of course, won by Kyron Wilson, so one would think maybe I've predicted Kyron Wilson to win that. I didn't. I backed Ronnie O'Sullivan to win that. He didn't even play in it, Tom. So I think that's straight away 0 points, because I can't beat you in that one.
Hold on. So the 2 players you backed for the Masters, you backed Ronnie, who didn't play, and then you backed Barry Hawkins.
I did. I backed Barry Hawkins in the actual one. Dear. Yeah, it didn't go well, the Masters, for me this year. But, Tom, do you remember who you might have backed for this year's Masters?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it would have been a Selby.
Well, Tom, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised here. You backed the Wizard of Wishaw, John Higgins, to
Did
win
I?
the Masters. Now, I don't know where that came from, but you also backed him in your Masters preview video, didn't you?
Well,
So-
I mean, thank you very much.
There
to the
you go.
Spin Master himself.
Yeah, so John Higgins gets you 3 points there. So an early 4-0 lead for Tom. It's looking like the Canada-Qatar match, this.
I can't believe this, Joe. How did I get that right? Well, not right, but do you know what I mean?
Very close, though. It was very good. Not many people will have backed John Higgins at the start of the season to win the Masters. So there you go. World Championship time. I backed Ronnie to win his 8th world title, as I did in the prediction video, actually. Ronnie got to the second round, beaten by John Higgins, of course, in that deciding frame. And you think that you backed Xintong to break the curse, do you?
Possibly, yeah. I might be wrong.
Well, you did back a certain curse to be broken, and it was Ding Junhui at the World Championship. You backed Ding to win the World Championship, Tom.
Yeah, I remember.
And I think your idea was that he would be inspired by Xintong, which wasn't a bad shout, really. You know, Wu Yize won in the end. It was another Chinese champion.
Well, instead, Ding was just beaten by Xintong, so...
He was indeed. So they both went out in the second round. I guess Ronnie did slightly better than Ding because he got to 12, whereas Ding got to 10. So I'm going to take everything I can have. We'll have 1 point there for that one. So I'm off the mark at least. End of season number 1. Who do you think you backed for that?
I think I probably said Trump, just based on... Logically, he had such a big lead, so I just presumed he'd still be there.
Yeah, and of course the end of season number 1 was Judd Trump. He was £445,000 ahead of second place Neil Robertson, which again I don't think anybody would have been backing Neil to be number 2 in the world come the end of the season. And we both backed Judd Trump, so that's a 5-point win for each of us. So it's currently 9-6, Tom. It's getting quite close. It's a very important final frame of the session. Is it going to be 9-7? Is it going to be 10-6? Who knows? First time ranking event winner. Who do you think you might have backed for that this season?
Probably someone like CJRW, I think.
It was not. I'll give you a couple more guesses.
I guarantee it wasn't Alfie Bloody Burden. No one would have predicted that. So let's go with Elliot Slessor.
Sadly not. It was Joe O'Connor. Who would have been a pick for many players, didn't obviously win a ranking event that season. I backed Jack Jones, who again didn't win a ranking event that season. However, Joe O'Connor got to the final of the Championship League against Stephen Maguire. So once again, Tom, 3 points in the bag for you.
I was
that
just
puts
saying,
you one frame away. You're on 12 now. I
was just saying earlier in the podcast how that's a proper event and we should take it seriously.
Absolutely. So, highest ranking jump. This is going to be quite difficult to measure in terms of, I don't know who the person was that went up the rankings the most last season. I don't know how I would actually check that. I don't know any websites that tell us that information. I don't know if you know any, Tom, but looking at it, I mean, we can say 5 points to whoever gets it right, or whoever got it right between us, I suppose.
Here we go. I found a thing on Wikipedia. Where it has the rankings for last season, and you can see each sort of revision, so you could see where they started and where they finished.
Oh, so this is on Wiki, is it? Let's have a look.
Yeah.
So do you remember who you might have backed to jump up the rankings?
I believe it might have been Zach Surety because he had a good World Championship debut.
Yeah, you did. You did go for that. Well remembered.
Do I get a point for remembering?
Oh. Well, that's not fair because I can't get points, can I, for that? Because I can literally see them. But oh my goodness, mate! I'm looking at a different Wikipedia page, I think. But yeah, it's got each revision in there, hasn't it? So
yeah.
At the start of the season, then, so Zach Surety was number 65 at the start of the season. I backed Marco Fu, and he was number 67 at the start of the season. So I worry for both of us here, to be honest. But let's have a look. So Marco Fu is ranked number 80 now, apparently. I think because he started a new 2-year card, didn't he? Yeah, he started a new 2-year card. So actually, he would have started at 128. So,
oh my God, I think you've won it with that.
So that's
Sneaky
48. That's 48 he's jumped up. Where's Zach Surety these days?
Zach won't have jumped up 48. It's not possible.
Zach's up to 42 in the world. So he went up 23 spots. Yeah, I feel like I shouldn't get 5 points for that. I think we get 3 points all round because they were two good guesses of ranking jumpers. So, Tom, congratulations. You won the predictions. 15 frames to 9 in the end. John Higgins and Joe O'Connor doing a lot of heavy lifting for you there. But it's fair to say I've not had a good season of predictions, and that's probably about to continue with our Q School roundup in a minute. But how do you feel, Tom, winning that? I think you were the better predictor over the last season. I think it's fair to say.
I mean, I'm happy. I'm very happy to win these. I think I will take the W. I'm very happy with that. I feel like it's only going to go downhill from here, so I'm a bit worried about that. Having looked briefly at this list, I imagine the highest ranking climber would be Chang Bing Yu, who technically would have been 128 and ended at 48. So that must be huge, isn't it? That's 80 places.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So well done to Chan Bing Yu. And if anybody remembers at all, if they predicted nearly a year ago, let us know how you did on our scoring system. But yeah, shall we have a look at Q School? Because of course we had some big names entering Q School this year. We had Mark Davis, of course. We had Robert Milkins, but also the likes of Mark Joyce trying to get back on the tour. Tony Knowles was giving it a go as well. And we picked two teams, Tom, that, let's just say, I don't think we've done very well, but let's see how it's gone. We will rank this based on you get 10 points if you predict a correct qualifier from Q School, and you get 1 point for every match that they've won. So that's how it's going to work. I'm just going to remind you of your team, Tom. You got Gong Chenzi, Gaurang Vyas, Richard Binns, Ronnie Sullivan, Arseny Korolev, Robert Milkins, Mark Davis, and Big Tony Knowles. With Robert Milkins your team captain, and therefore 10 point or double points for him. However many matches he won, or 20 points if he was a qualifier. My team, Robbie McGuigan, Eric Nagy, Bulshu Ravesh, Bradley Cowdroy, Anurag Sabu, Sanderson Lamb, Aidan Murphy, and Sean Liu. Now, me and Tom were actually watching the live stream of Anurag Sabu's first match, weren't we? And he was taking on Dean Reynolds, who... one of the oldest players in the draw, limping round the table, could barely reach any of the shots. And Dean Reynolds thumped him 4-0. It was dreadful to watch. And I remember that the live streams froze for the last 10 minutes with the referee taking a big glug of water, wasn't he? And that was quite funny. That was probably the most entertaining thing that happened in that match.
They just left the live stream there for 10 minutes. All these hundreds of comments. There was still about 400 people watching. Just the referee just paused like. That's all it was for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it was a cracker, wasn't it? But we will go through the first 4 players of your team first, Tom, and then we'll do all 8 of mine, and then we'll see if you can. Well, we'll see if you can make the comeback, I guess, or maybe you'll have already won. I don't know how this is going to go, to be honest. So Gong Chenzi was your first player, and he played Callum Beresford and beat him 4-1 in Q School 1 before going out to Hamim Hussain 4-2 in the second round. So that's 1 point from Q School 1. In Q School 2... he then played, who did he play? He played Richard Binns in a Tom Mayhew derby in the first one. Won that 4-2, so you're on 2 points at the minute. He then beat Callum Beresford again, 4-1, so he's now on 3. Then beat Bulshu Ravesh, who was my team captain, so that's 4. That could be a big one. Then he beat Robert Milkins in another Tom Mayhew derby. So that's 5. And then he went and beat Brian Achoyski, of course, the Frenchman, to qualify for the tour, Tom. So a perfect 10 to start you off.
I mean,
look at that.
That is a good start, but I know he's already knocked out a few of my other choices.
Well, let's not worry about that too much, because Gaurang Vyas is the next one that you're looking at. He lost to Labib Ahmed 4-0 in the first round of Q School 2. And how do I spell it again? G-A. Right. And he lost to Anthony Parsons 4-0 in the other Q School, so that's a nil point for Gaurang Vyas, I'm afraid.
Not surprised. Disappointed, but not surprised.
Right, Richard Binns.
Ooh.
Let's see how he got on. Lost against Chung Kar-wai in the first Q School, 4-0. So no points from that one. And then in the second Q School, he beat John Snape 4-3 in the first round match before losing to Gong in the second. So just a solitary point there for him.
Unlucky Bino.
So the last one for now, Ronnie Sullivan. He lost 4-1 to Jake Crofts in the second Q School, and he lost 4-2 to Alan Taylor in the other one. So it's a nil point for Ronnie Sullivan, I'm afraid.
Oh dear.
So now over to my team. So Robbie McGuigan was my first pick. So let's see how he got on. He beat Chan Chi Chun in the first match, 4-0. He then beat Umut Dikmi 4-2 in the next one, before going out in a decider to Ian Martin in round 4. So he only gets 2 points there. Then in Q School 2, he won against Sanjay Patel 4-0 before losing to Riley Powell 4-1. So only 3 points for Robbie McGuigan.
Oh.
That's a shocker. A shocker, they say. Right, Eric Nagy, come on. Eric Nagy. First round match. He beat Michael Kotiuk, the Polish player, 4-3 in the opening match before losing 4-3 to Jay Crofts. Jay Crofts has popped up a couple of times, and that was apparently decided on the black, that one. So just 1 point for Eric in that one. And then in Q School 2, he lost to Wang Yukin, a former Captain Goodspeed team member. Coming back to haunt me, just a 1 point there. So I'm only on 4 points at the minute, Tom. You could get this sewn up. Right. Bullshoe Ravesh is my next one. Now, hopefully, he did pretty well. Let's see. So, he won his first match against Evan Monroe, 4-3. Then won his second match against the Israeli player, Amir Nardella, 4-0. So 2 points from there, but then he lost to your guy, Gong Chenzi.
Gong.
So just 2 points for Bullshoe Ravesh there. And then he lost in the first one against Jeff Cundy, believe it or not. Jeff Cundy, who is 57 years old. I mean, how did that happen? He's playing in the Championship League, Jeff Cundy.
What?
In a couple of weeks.
Jeff Cundy.
Well, Bullshoe Ravesh, just the 2 points for him, sadly.
Apparently, Jeff Cundy's a former pro who turned pro in 1991. Oh, it could have been a new class of 91, mate. But he's not been. His highest ranking was 92. So
yeah. So I'm still only on 6 points here. Bradley Culdroy. Let's see. So Bradley Culdroy. Oh no, he lost his first match against Wang Yukin. What's going on? Wang Yukin coming back to haunt me.
Oh, it's the ultimate revenge.
And then he lost his other match against Ayan Iqbal. So nil points for him. So after 4 each, Tom, it's 11-6 to you. It's looking good. How are you feeling?
I mean, I feel all right. I'm very wary that this could be humiliating if I don't win from here. So I can't be too complacent, Joe.
Well, Tom, I'm going to continue with my boys for now, and we'll see if I can get into the lead. So we'll start with Anurag Sabu. I'm not sure Sabu is going to help me out much here. I'm going to be honest. Sabu actually won a match in his second one against Kean Dennett, but lost 4-1. And we already know what happened in the other one. He lost 4-0 to Dean Reynolds somehow. So that's another nil point, I'm afraid. Right, Sanderson Lamb, come on. Come on, son.
A panda, I believe they call him.
No, Sanderson Lamb lost his first match of Q School 1 to Anthony Parsons. What's going on?
Oof.
What's going on? Right, anyway, Q School 2. He beat Jamie O'Neill, 4-2. He beat Jamie Wilson, 4-3. He beat Natanapong Chaikul, 4-2. So that's 3 points for Sanderson Lamb. And then he lost to Brian Achoyski. Wow, 4-3. So 3 points for Sanderson Lamb. By the way, Tom, I do need to double my points for Bullshoe Ravesh because he was team captain. So instead of 2 points, he gets 4. So that makes it officially 11-all now. 11-all in this one. I've got Aidan Murphy and Sean Liu to come. So, Aidan Murphy. Oh my God. The first match he played was against Sean Liu. But at least he won 4-0. So that's 1 point.
It's the Sean Murphy derby. Beautiful.
And then he beat Daniel Boyes 4-2 in the next one. before losing 4-3 to Evan Munro. I don't want to see Evan Munro's name anymore. So that was 2 points from event 1. Event 2, he beat Gerard Green 4-3 in the first round match. And then lost 4-0 to a certain Mark Davis. So 3 points for Aidan Murphy there. So now it all rests on Sean Liu, who we know is in Q School 2. So I'm going to leave Sean Liu for a bit. And I'm going to go back to your guys, Tom, to see. I'm currently 14-11 in front. So
just a reminder for anyone who might not remember, Sean Liu is, I think, a 14 or 15-year-old player who is named after Sean Murphy. And that is who all of Joe's hopes currently are on, a teenage boy to have somehow qualified. We will see. We'll see. He's named after Sean Murphy. Maybe he's got some of that magic. Who knows?
Who knows? So Arseny Korolev is next for you, Tom. And he beat Mark Lloyd 4-3 in his first round match. He then lost 4-1 to Nathan Jones in the second round match. And in Q School 2, he lost 4-1 to Mark Davis. So in another Mayhew derby. So 1 point there. But I think we know that there's some points coming for Mark Davis in a bit. Mm-hmm. Right. Robert Milkins, team captain. How did he get on? The Milkman. So he beat James Silverwood 4-0 in the first round match.
Good start,
then
Milkins.
He lost to Dwayne Jones 4-3. So Milkins is out in Q School 1. Just 1 point there. But obviously doubled. And then in Q School 2, he beat Cybran Sokolovsky 4-2. Then he beat Hamim Hussein 4-1. Then he beat Rodion Judin in the next one. By the way, just looking at that, if Robert Milkins and Rodion Judin both lost against Hamim Hussein and Halim Hussein, we would have had a Hussein match against each other. But anyway, so he won 3 matches there and then lost to your boy Gong Chenzi 4-3 in the last 16. So he gets 4 points doubled to 8 points, meaning that you are virtually this year's champion, unless Sean Liu pulls out some miracles in a bit. Let's have a look at Mark Davis. He's your next player, looking to keep the Davis dynasty going. Lost in Q School 1 in the first round against Oliver Briffett Payne. How did that happen?
No idea.
And then in the second Q School, he won his first match against Arseny Korolev, as we know. He then beat Aidan Murphy 4-0, as we know. He then beat James Silverwood 4-0 before losing out to Andrew Higginson 4-0, meaning that just the 3 points for Mark Davis. I mean, who would have believed that? He got less points, or he got the same amount of points as Aidan Murphy over the two events. So, Tony Knowles is your last player. If he gets 2 points or more, you are guaranteed to win.
I'm not confident whether he'll do that, but
Tony Knowles, let's have a look. So, Tony Knowles.
I'm going to predict he didn't even win 2 frames. That's all I'm saying.
Well, he lost 4-0 against Sean O'Sullivan in the first Q School. And in the second Q School, what did he do in the second Q School? Where is he? Oh, hey, Tony, where are you? There he is. He lost 4-0 to Hayden Pinney. So you were right, he didn't even get a single frame, Tony Knowles. So it keeps the dream alive. If and only if Sean Liu somehow qualified for the main tour. Well, let's find. Or he won 5 matches in each of them, which we know that isn't true because he lost to Aidan Murphy in the first round of Q School 1. And in Q School 2, what happened? Well, he beat Luke Pinches 4-2 in the first round.
Oh.
He then beat Vladislav Gradinari 4-3 in the next one. But sadly, he lost 4-2 to Andrew Higginson in the third one. So 2 points to me. Woo-hoo! And that means that Tom Mayhew is your Q School 2026 World Champion. Well done. You beat me by 23 frames to 16. And it has to be said, Gong Chen Zi, without him, it was a victory to me. You had 3-0 power in there, Tom, and a couple of 1-pointers.
I think
it was all on Gong Chen Zi.
Yeah, I do think it also has to be said that between us both, we only got one person right. So I don't think
it was shocking.
Great.
I mean, if we look at last season, I predicted two correct ones. You got none that year, sadly. The year before that, I only predicted... I predicted 2, including one Yukin there. So, Tom, this is your first correct qualifier since Alexander Ersenbacher in 2023. So there you go. There you go.
What a moment for Gong Chen Zi. I'm sure that's what he'll be telling. He'll be telling all his family about that, I'm sure. That'll be what really makes it.
Can you get your breath, Tom? But I suppose we should talk about our brand new professionals that we've got on the tour for next season. So we have got Chung Ka-wai, who beat Jack Bradford in the final of Q School 1. Phil O'Kane, who beat Jamie O'Neill. Sean O'Sullivan, who beat Josh Tommond, and Liam Davis back on tour. He beat Dean Young. And then in Q School 2... we had Stuart Carrington getting back on the tour, beating Yaron Bador. We had Mitchell Mann beating Alan Taylor. Andrew Higginson beating Mark Joyce. And finally, Gong Chen Zi beating Brian Choisky. So there you go. Those are your new professionals from Q School, the UK Q School, that is. Obviously, there are some from the Asian Q School as well. But there you go. Any familiar names that you're excited to see back on the tour?
I feel it's quite notable for the fact that 7 of the 8 are former professionals. Phil O'Kane's the only first-time pro who's come through Q School. Which, I mean, maybe part of the problems with our predictions is that me and Joe are romantics. We want to see new players get a shot on tour, and then
like Anurag Sabu,
Yeah, exactly. We want to go for Anurag Sabu or Richard
David Wardropper.
Exactly, but a lot of former pros, a lot of decent former pros. I mean, Liam Davis is a very good young player. It's good to see him. Because, we did mention the Davis dynasty is over, isn't it, Joe?
It is indeed, yeah. Of course, since professional snooker began, Joe Davis, Fred Davis, Steve Davis, and then Mark Davis, there's always been an overlap of the Davises. And, yeah, or at least spelt in the way that D-A-V-I-S is. It does wind me up more than anything when people spell Steve Davis as Steve Davies, which I believe happened on the back of one of the World Snooker boxes, actually. But yeah, the Davis dynasty is over. It was always going to come, I guess, one day. But it's a pretty crazy fact that since 2027, it was 100 years that was a thing. That we had a professional Davis in the sport. 100 seasons of snooker.
And now I guess the longest dynasty is the Higgins dynasty now, I suppose.
I suppose so, yeah, because I guess Alex must have overlapped with John in the 90s, I suppose. But
yeah,
I'm not sure. I don't know when Alex Higgins played his last professional match. So that's one for the statisticians out there, or Tom's Wikipedia fingers to possibly get to work on.
Speaking of Wikipedia fingers, Joe, are you aware of a player who qualified for the tour called Paul Norris?
Oh yes, he's Australian, isn't he? I think.
Well, he was born in England, then he moved to Australia, and he's qualified for the tour at the age of 59.
Wow. I mean, that's a great story, isn't it? You know,
The first time he's ever going to be pro, and he says that it's the equivalent of a 39-year-old non-league player signing for Arsenal.
and to be fair, you know, he's played in a couple of the qualifiers already. Played against Anthony Kowalski in the China Open qualifiers, lost 6-4, so very respectable there. And Louis Heathcote 5-1 in the Wuhan Open. He's going to be playing in the Championship League against Oliver Brown, Liu Hongyu, and Joe O'Connor. So well done to Paul Norris. And yeah, it's a great story. It sort of does make you think that it's not a sort of fair system of the standard of players that get the cards, you know, distributed, because you always get the sort of the player from South America that barely ever plays, or Africa that barely ever plays, and it seems a shame really that those tour cards are equal weighting to the ones at Q School, for instance.
Well, it's similar to the discussion around obviously the Football World Cup, where you know, there is always an argument where people would say Curacao are not as strong as Italy. Do you know what I mean? And people would say, "Oh, the World Cup isn't the best 48 teams." It's because it has to be the world. It has to be from different confederations to reflect the world. Otherwise, it would just be 30 European teams, 10 South American, and then, you know, a couple from 8. Do you know what I mean? So, but I think snooker has a similar thing where they do want to have players from different places. Obviously, they do want to get a player from Africa.
It is good for the opportunity, isn't it? And obviously, it's been very controversial over the recent years about the invitational tour cards, which, of course, Ken wasn't offered one this season, so he's, of course, retired from the game as a result, and, you know, never got an opportunity to go to Q School, which, for me, you know, I would rather WST sort of gave him a heads up that he wasn't going to get one of them. I don't know what the reasoning behind that is. You know, Ken probably more than Jimmy plays in everything, so yeah, a bit of a surprise he wasn't offered that again. Maybe it's a sign of things to come. Obviously, Jimmy's got another year on his invitational tour card. It'll be interesting to see whether they continue that into next season. And obviously, Marco Fu's on one as well.
I was surprised because it does feel very against what they've been doing with former world champions who typically drop off and want to continue. You know, they were happy to give Hendry a tour card even when he wasn't really entering
Steve Davis as well back in the day.
Davis and it is. I think obviously mainly it's massively frustrating for the players involved that there's no sort of clarity, but also for fans watching, it just makes it all feel a bit less professional. If it feels like it's just a bit on a whim whether a player gets a tour card, and you know, going back to what you were saying about different tour cards from around the world, I reckon if it was a best of 11 between Ken and Paul Norris, Ken would probably win. Let's say that. So do you know what I mean? I don't think you would be able to go, he's not strong enough to be on the tour, because he wouldn't be the worst player on the tour.
Well, yeah, I think Ken had, you know, maybe not the last season, but a couple of times he'd got into the top 64 again over the last sort of 5-6 years. So I don't think Ken necessarily was, you know, if you look at Jimmy White, he's had one run of 2 years in the last 20 probably where he's been good enough to be in the top 64. So so that's, you would say Ken's of a higher standard than Jimmy, so we'll see what happens next season. I don't think Ken had particular desires to keep going anyway. I don't think he would have played at Q School, for instance, and to be honest, probably wouldn't have got through Q School. You look at some of the players that didn't get through this year, it's getting tougher and tougher to get out of there. But I think me and Tom, as we always say, we're romantics, aren't we? We want to see the likes of Ken play at the Crucible again, you know, or have that hope that he might do that. He got close a couple of times recently, but yeah, onwards and upwards for Ken, and I guess that the shame of it all is that he can't really win on the seniors anymore either because of the way that that's changed. So it's all gone a little bit nuts, hasn't it, for some of the older players who had this route to play in the World Seniors every year and having a chance of winning it. Obviously, it was quite often Ken versus Jimmy in the last stages of that for a number of years. You had the likes of David Lilly getting involved, Alfie Burden, of course. But it feels like with the new rules on that, that's never going to happen again. You're never going to see the likes of Joe Johnson playing in these events. Cliff Thorburn, of course, was playing in them. John Parrott, until recently, Dennis Taylor. It does seem like snooker's sort of evolving away from legends of the sport now.
Yeah, and we did. Me and Joe both watched bits of the seniors, and it was a strange tournament, wasn't it? Because it felt like it was just Ronnie was just in second gear, wasn't he? And it just felt like he could win in second gear against any of those players. So it just if he enters every year, he's going to win it every year.
Well, yeah, until Mark Williams enters it or John Higgins enters it, and then probably one of them will win it. I think the sweet spot of it all was about 7 years ago. I think it was just after Willow had won the World Championship, and I think Hendry played in the seniors, didn't he? And he played pretty well in the seniors. He had the likes of Jimmy White, Stephen Hendry. You still had Dennis Taylor playing, Joe Johnson, John Parrott. Cliff might have even been playing back then, and I think that's what the World Seniors is about: is former world champions playing each other and seeing who comes out on top. A bit like I don't know if you remember that that football thing called Masters Football. About 15 years ago, where it was 5-a-side, and it was like Newcastle legends take on Leicester legends, and I think that's what's fun about watching these events. Not really watching Roger Featherbrow or whatever his name is, and Aaron Canavan and players that were not that in. Gerard Green, as much as I enjoy seeing him as a name as a snooker nerd, like he's not a legend of the sport, is he?
Oh my god! I've just remembered I showed Joe a screenshot of something on YouTube, and it relates to our previous discussions about Lee Walker.
Oh yeah,
it was literally a video, and it was like some sort of exhibition between Lee Walker and John Parrott, and it said like two legends collide, and I went, Lee Walker's not a legend just because he's retired. Like his highest ranking was about 42. You can't say that player is on the same level as a former world champion. It made me so annoyed.
Yeah.
Just because he's mates with Mark Williams doesn't mean he's a legend.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's what's got him a job as a BBC commentator as well. And we could talk about it a lot and how it's sort of over-egged the sort of importance of certain players, but that spoiled the seniors for me. It's going to spoil the invitational tour card, because you're not going to get to see the likes of Jimmy White and Ken on tour for much longer. Obviously Ken's gone now. Whether they'll keep giving one to Marco Fu, I don't know. I think Marco will probably get in the top 64 this season if he continues the way he did last year. I think he needs possibly 2 or 3 good runs in tournaments this year to get into the top 64. He's certainly still good enough to do that. I mean, what will be interesting is when the likes of Mark Williams drops off the tour, somebody that's openly said he will play until he is not allowed anymore, will he be given an invitational tour card every year? You would imagine on the current system, yes, but are they evolving away from that? And is it Barry Hearn that's given these cards out, and therefore, when Williams drops off the tour, he's probably not going to have any part to do with it from then? I wouldn't imagine. who knows? And interesting times ahead, I think, for snooker.
Yeah, it is. It is interesting, and yeah, we'll miss Ken. I mean, he's still going to be about. Obviously, he still does a load of punditry. I'm sure he'll still be in the seniors and stuff like that. But yeah, it just means that we've lost the last class of '91 with Mark Davis. We've lost the last class of '90 with Ken. So it's either Jimmy, and then the next oldest is finally the class of '92, which is incredible, really.
Of course, and I think it is going to be a very different sport in 5 years. Obviously, we've lost a lot of sort of snooker's history over the last couple of years, and in particular, on the broadcasting side of things, the big loss this season was, of course, JV, which we're still very much feeling the effects of. It will never truly be the same without JV, and me and Tom really do want to do a nice tribute video, but I think it's almost still a little bit too raw to deal with that. I know it's sort of, we're nearly 5 months on now from it happening, but I feel like a bit more time has to pass, doesn't it? That one's still going to sting for a while, I think.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's still a thing. I can't watch any of the tribute videos without getting upset. Do you know what I mean? Because it still feels very very fresh, I think, and I think because it felt so shocking. Because as we said at the time, he was at the Masters, shortly beforehand, and so it was just one of those where, there will always be a gap, as he would say.
Indeed. But it's been a cracking season of snooker. Obviously, Selby winning the UK's, Wilson winning the Masters, and Wu Yiza winning the World Championship. Those were the big three events, but we had a great run of events from Zhao Xintong in the sort of Players Series, won all three of them. We had multiple 147s. We had a 153 break. We had the oldest ever ranked event winner in Mark Williams. A lot has happened over the last 12 months in snooker, hasn't it? And what's possibly your best memory from the season, or a couple of them? What do you remember the most fondly?
I mean, probably. It's just the fact the 153 happened, and it's such a rare thing to occur in snooker. Literally, there's been hundreds of thousands of frames, and the number of breaks over 147.
Probably millions.
Yeah, and the number of professional breaks over 147 stood at 1. Do you know what I mean? Before that, and so for Ronnie to beat it, and for it to be Ronnie, it just felt so right that it was Ronnie. Like, because we all know with records to do with 147s, really, there's so many players who can make a 147, and if the first 150 plus break was made by no disrespect to I think Jamie Burnett, he got the 148. And he deserves a little bit of history, but it makes it a bit more special if it's someone who is a proper, the star of the game than if it was. Yeah. Imagine if it was a Mark Davis or something, and he drops off tour, and it'd feel a bit like it wouldn't feel as Hollywood almost. Like,
I think you're absolutely right, and the fact it happened in a tournament as well. Happened live on television. I think that's a very special moment. Of course, Ronnie got 2 147s in the same session as well. That was the first time that had ever happened. I know Jackson Page did it in qualifying over 2 sessions in the same match, but for Ronnie to do that against Chris Wakelin, it really did feel like there was some massive standout performances from Ronnie this season. Yet he still hasn't won a tournament since 2024, when he, of course, won the Masters. I believe that was the last tournament that he won. And I guess those are going to be the standout moments, the ones that stand the test of time. Of course, a decider at the Crucible for the first time since 2002. Some cracking semi-finals in there as well. Mark Allen's miss in the semi-final. Obviously, this is a lot of recency bias going on with the World Championship, but I really do think that there's some moments from this season that we will be looking on forever. A little bit like Hendry's missed black in 98 in the Masters. Obviously, Dennis and Steve with their black ball finish, and some of the 147s, Ronnie's fastest 147. These moments that when they happened, they get replayed all of the time. I genuinely think there's 3 or 4 of those moments from this season, and we're very lucky to have been around to witness all of them happen so close to each other.
Yeah, it's been, people do, with recency bias and with people just exaggerating generally, people do obviously sometimes over egg, there was history, but there genuinely was. And I guess one of the major things was, of course, the Crucible staying. That announcement,
yeah, of course,
was massive. And for every snooker fan, it just felt, I got a little bit of joy in my heart. And Joe, I can announce that I will be going to the Crucible next year.
Yay! Oh, that is amazing. That's amazing news. Go on, tell us all about it, Tom.
I'm going to be going on the first Wednesday. I'm going to be going for an afternoon and an evening session. That's what I'm doing.
Fantastic. Are you going on your own? Are you going with somebody?
At the moment, I've booked to go on my own, but if there's any Snooker Loopy fans who are there who want to say hello, but I'm actually quite looking forward, I think, to going on my own and just sort of taking it all in and really let myself have the time to just go, and just spend an hour at the merch table, for example, without someone going, come on, stop trying to buy WSC 11, and me going, no, but I want it. So
yeah. Oh, that's brilliant news. It really is amazing to hear that. And I wish I could join you, Tom. I really do wish I could be there, but I'll be at work, sadly. You'll be, basking in the glory of Crucible loveliness, while I'll be, teaching maths.
Well, either way, you get to feel like you're a ref. Do you ever feel like you're the ref when you're teaching maths? Do you ever just sort of point at the board and just go 1,
22? No,
do you ever do that voice at work?
I don't, funnily enough. But let us know some of your favourite moments of the 25-26 season. There's certainly a lot of things that will live long in the memory, good and bad, for us. And there will be reasons why that this season sticks in our minds forever. Obviously, Big Break returning as well. Looking forward to seeing that back on our screens later this year. And obviously we will be back to talk about the 26-27 season, but we've got one final treat for you in this season. One final treat. And Tom, a few weeks ago, well, actually during the World Championship, sent me a lovely package that I haven't opened yet. And every year I go and pick Tom up a programme from the World Championship. So I always give him a couple of little goodies to go with it as well.
Because usually we do this as little Crucible presents, but you won't be able to get me a programme next year.
Well, no.
If I'm going
I'll have to get you something else.
Maybe I should get you a programme if I go before you, I guess.
Yeah, maybe. But Tom. So Tom will I'll have that plus a couple of optional extras that he might want or might not want. Who knows? And I've got this. So Tom, I don't know if you want to go first or if you want me to go first. I don't mind.
Well, shall I open a bit of this first, and you open a bit of that?
Let's go.
It feels like Christmas.
It does, and of course we've got our Christmas special to look forward to in just over 6 months, Tom.
There's something there. I put it back in the parcel. Oh, look at this programme. Look at this beautiful thing. Oh, look at this. And it's got a picture of Steve Dawson on the first page. I don't really know why. Midnight means built different. Look at this.
Yeah, and
I always really appreciate it's proper high quality. It's a proper like
it is,
cardboard.
and you know what? It's £8 or something silly like that. It's not an expensive program.
It's 112 pages long.
Yeah, and I think there's an article in there about the top 10 Crucible finals ever, and I thought that we could maybe do something like that maybe next year.
Do you know what, Joe? Who would have thought was it 2023 when we started this podcast and we were laughing about the Lincolnshire sausage that literally
The Lincolnshire sausage would be
Stephen Hallworth is in the official programme for the World Championship.
And not as a player. Not as a player. Right. Oh, I mean, who know? Oh, hang on a minute. Hang on. Right, here we go then. There's a lovely little PS1 game here. Virtual Pool. Look at this, and look who it's got on the front. Presented by Steve Davis and Ronnie O'Sullivan. I mean, that is quite sensational, Tom. So enter a real-time 360-degree 3D environment that allows you to play pool from any perspective. Choose from 8-ball, 9-ball, straight pool, or rotation, whatever that is. Then chalk up, position the cue, and take your best shot. Realistic physics and geometry, designed by physicists and mathematicians to simulate all the physical action, including friction, speed, collision, and roll. True computational ball tracking. Full screen, full motion video. Learn the history of the sport or take some trick shot lessons from the world-renowned pool champion Machine Gun Lou Butera. Well, there you go. I mean, nothing about Ronnie and Steve on the back, but that's fantastic. Thank you, Tom. I'm looking forward to giving that a go.
What I find interesting about that is my brother played that as a kid and he really enjoyed it, so I know it is quite a decent cube simulation game because he played it for hours. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But B, like the whole thing presented by Ronnie O'Sullivan, he must have been about 17 or something, quite young.
I mean, what year was this? This was
maybe
1996. So yeah, he was. He would have been quite young.
But I can't find any videos of that, so I have no idea what that is. And I thought, well, if there's one man we know who'd be able to document this in the same way that we've managed to somehow track down those commentary stuff and stuff from the World Snooker 09. I thought if there's one person we know who could do a deep dive into this, it would be Mr. Joe Hanna.
Mr. Captain Goodspeed. So thank you very much, Tom. There's a couple of extra surprises in there for you, Tom. One snooker related, one not. So
let's do the snooker one first. This shows me and Joe are quite similar people because Joe he's got me a copy of World Snooker 2004.
Well, Tom, actually, if you look at it...
What?
Look at the game.
World Champion... No, it's the first one.
Yeah. So, you might remember when I was trying to track down all of the commentary and stuff from the ref. I basically bought all of the PC games of the World Championship Snooker series. And I thought I was buying World Championship Snooker 2004, yet they sent me World Championship Snooker on the PC. So I thought you would find that hilarious that they labelled it wrong. I don't know how they managed it, but they labelled it wrong. And I thought that should belong to you, Tom.
Oh, wow. There's a World Championship Snooker and there's manuals /demos/promos. So that's good.
Yeah. There you go. So enjoy that, Tom. I don't know if your laptop has a disk drive, but you can get external ones these days anyway.
Wow.
But,
network play via LAN/internet. So could we play each other on this somehow? Would that be possible?
Yes, because I do have a copy of that because I own 2 copies of that now, which is, a problem in itself that I have 2 versions of that. Well, no, I don't have 2 versions of that because you've now got one. So I guess we could. Could.
Featuring expert commentary from snooker legend Dennis Taylor.
Well, there you go.
20 top pros to play against, including Stephen Hendry, Ronnie O'Sullivan, and world champion Mark Williams. Just a reminder, this game's 25 years old, and the top pros have barely changed.
They have indeed. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. But speaking of which, look at this. Another virtual Q Sport game presented by Steve Davis and Ronnie O'Sullivan. This is virtual snooker. I mean, it says starring Steve Davis and presented by Ronnie O'Sullivan. So that's an interesting thing. Includes footage of the first ever televised 147 break, which is interesting. It's a CD-ROM game. Let's have a look on the back of this one. The ultimate snooker simulation. Enter the world of virtual snooker. Snooker game so real, we are sure it will improve your actual snooker game. Well, there you go. It has all the angles, all the shots of the real game, and more. Take a lesson in snooker techniques and tactics from 6 times world champion Steve Davis. 52 minutes full motion video library includes tuition and Steve Davis's legendary 147 break. Easy multiplayer modes, challenge a friend, play a virtual opponent, or play on 2 computers via network or modem. Has all the feel and control of the real game. Your mouse interfaces directly to the cue for realistic control. Ease back gently for a soft touch, or stroke hard for a strong touch.
Oh, is this Snooker Extra? What's going on?
Yeah, it doesn't say what the age rating of this one. Oh, it does. 3+ apparently. Realistic 3D perspective and graphics. Take a walk around the table. Look left. Look right. Zoom in for a closer look, then line up your shot just like you would on an actual table. Well, this is going to be great, Tom. If I can get this working, that would be amazing. And this was made in 1995. So, a couple of quotes from our starring players. I never thought a computer simulation could capture all the subtlety and variation of a real snooker game. I've been proved wrong. I'm hooked, Steve Davis said. 6 times world champion and currently ranked number 2 in the world. This game's great. Every angle and perspective is spot on. It's just like the real thing. Ronnie O'Sullivan, youngest ever UK champion at 17 and ranked number 3 in the world. There you go. I'm going to open it up if that's all right, Tom. I'm gonna see what's inside. I bet you this is on floppy disk, to be honest with you.
I've no idea if you can actually. I've no idea, mate. To be fair, but
there is indeed a floppy disk. Oh look, it's a virtual snooker exclusive level.
Level? What does that mean?
Yeah. I mean, floppy disk. There it is. You can see that there. I'll show Tom. Exclusive level.
Unlimited use as well. Well, that's
unlimited
good.
use, yeah. But there is a disc in here as well, so I'm hoping that I might be able to do something with this. It has got a disc inside it. Classic CD case, it doesn't stay together. But
well, if we can get the videos off that, we can put it on the channel, I suppose.
Yeah, because let's be real, nobody will have ever done that. So
I have looked and no one has. So literally,
and I mean, there's a massive booklet here as well. This is fantastic. This is brilliant, Tom. It's even got a glossary of all of the sort of terminology. Balk end, the bottom end of the table. Balk line, a straight line drawn across the width of the table, 29 inches from the bottom end. Oh. There you go. Balk, the area between the balk line and the bottom cushion. Cue stick, the long, thin stick used to hit the cue ball. The cue shall be no shorter than 3 feet in length. This is interesting. Oh, this is a future cue. They'll have to definitely to have a look at this. Interplay's worldwide website. There you go.
We've entered a different era, haven't we?
We certainly have. Oh, we've got customer support, telephone numbers, fax numbers, Maybe we should send a fax to these people and see see if they'll help us. But I mean, this is amazing, Tom. Thank you very much for that.
That's all right. And thank you for my final present, which is not snooker related, but it is the new James Bond game. I presume. I think how many? Because you were saying you had 2 copies of World Championship Snooker. How many copies of this did you end up getting?
Well, I ended up with 3 because I ended up having the sort of normal version of the game, and then obviously I bought the 2 collector's editions, which came with a copy of it. I thought I'd start your PS5 collection off because I know that when the snooker game eventually comes out, you will take the plunge, or maybe even before that. Who knows? But
I need to get one to play this now. So
well, there you go. I thought I'd start that off for you.
Thank you, mate. Genuinely, I will look forward to playing this because
yes,
I've not finished your Let's Play yet. I've got about 2 episodes left, but it looks incredible. This game. It's not snooker related. We can't really talk about it. There are people playing pool in this game. I have seen it, so that makes it.
Yes, there are. Yeah. I can't remember if there was any snooker in there. I think somebody did mention snooker at one point in the game, but I might be wrong.
Was there one bit where I think you could challenge someone to a match at pool and they just go, "No, I'm all right."
Yeah, that's right. It happened in the Web Industries building.
And I was excited because I thought, "Oh, you're actually going to play pool?" And he just goes, "No, I'm all right." And I was like,
"No, I'm all right." Yeah, I mean, it could have. Who knows? It could have been a virtual snooker mini game inside of it, which because no, it's not this. The virtual pool is made by. Oh, I thought it was made by IDOS, who I think used to publish, but it's not. I thought I'd read IDOS somewhere on there, but yeah, thank you very much, Tom. A sort of midway of the year Christmas present opening, and yeah, there'll be more of that come Christmas time. But any final words on this fabulous season?
Well, as one of our favourites would say, Joe, it's been a cracker.
It certainly has been a cracker. So looking forward to all that comes with the next season. It is going to be awesome. We will be back in a few weeks' time to preview all things to do with the 2026-27 season. We're going to be making our predictions of who are going to win the Triple Crown events, who's going to end the season as world number 1, who's going to win a ranking event for the first time, and the most important one, who's going to make the biggest ranking jump. So, yeah, very exciting. Let us know your thoughts down in the comment section below, and get in touch on Snooker Loopy Podcast at gmail.com if you want Fanzheng email to be read out. But thank you for everything this season. It's been a good one for the channel. We've gone well over 1,000 subscribers, which is brilliant, and onwards and upwards into the next season. We'll see you then.